good to see you, and thank you for joining me today. As I was giving the intro about you, there is nothing you haven't tried, and there is nothing you can't do, right? Right.
My
Yeah.
dog will certainly certify for
Right. So just to give you a background, this show we started because we wanted to introduce people like you to normal people. I mean, mortals. So everybody needs every ounce of inspiration. So we are bringing on people like you. We are discussing your journey, what drives you, and things like that, so that everybody can take a little bit of inspiration at the end of the show, right?
correct. Yeah.
I have a set of 10 to 12 questions curated for you, and
Yeah.
I will shoot one by one at you, and let's go by that. Is that okay?
I am game for anything you throw my way. Don't worry.
Fantastic, fantastic.
No problem.
So, my first question, Shekhar, you are
Hmm.
an out, you are an out and out entertainer, right?
Hmm.
You have done things for so many years. So, how did this journey start?
So this journey started. See, I've always. You'll be quite surprised. I was a very shy boy when I started. I think the first 3 years when I was born, my mom said
Right,
I didn't speak for the first 3 years, and I think
right,
that doctor she went to had told her that even Einstein didn't speak for the first 3 years. So you're in a good space. But the only
right,
common thing between me and Einstein is obviously the hair. Otherwise, other than that, I don't think we match anywhere else. But so in school and college, I was extremely shy.
right,
I was the backbencher, not for notorious reasons. I was a backbencher because I didn't like to be called out. As simple as
right,
that. But I
right,
was a wonderful mimic. I could mimic people. I could impersonate people. I could impersonate teachers. I could impersonate my parents' friends. I could do all that. I could put on a private show for people I was comfortable with, and
right,
that spark was there. And when
right.
I went to college, I studied in a boys' school. I studied in a school called Mount St. Mary's in Delhi. I'm guessing you're in Gurgaon, right?
Yes, yes.
Right now. So I was born and brought up in Delhi. I've been in Delhi from schooling, college, and then I came to Bangalore to work. So
Right,
when you study in a boys' school, life is a little different. You're very gentle, you're very
right,
gentlemanly, or you think you're gentlemanly, and you just interact with the fairer sex only when you get a chance in the social. And so
absolutely.
because of this, you become a little more, you become shy, of course, but there are obviously the confident lot who would go out and impress the fairer sex, but I was not amongst them at all. I was
Right,
just sitting back, watching, observing, writing. And even in college, I was like this. And I think once I started working, when you start working, you get used to a certain template because you work in various companies, you meet certain characters, certain bosses, certain bosses who have a language of a sailor. You're like, my God, kya bolta hai yaar ye? They know nothing. And, things like that. You get to meet, and that's when the funny bone strikes. And I actually enjoyed inspiring people wherever I went. That the inspirational streak which I have, is there anywhere? So I look at any situation in a very positive manner. For me,
very
it's
nice.
not glass half full or glass half empty. It's just a glass which is full for me. That's how I look at it. Because I believe any adversity is an opportunity to shine. I genuinely believe in that. That's why my dog's
Fantastic.
name is also Sunshine, because I believe there's always mortality out there for all of us, and
Right,
that's my basic mindset. Now, when you are very inspired, or when you have an inspiration streak in you, people love to talk to you. You love to talk to people, and that energy is always very effervescent because people like it. And I think that's the kind of persona I carry. And it's also very useful because when you're out there on stage or on a call like this, if you're positive, things more often than not tend to work towards your direction. I believe it's the
right,
law of attraction, or it's just the fact that you're just positive and you radiate that kind of energy, which is
right,
so important. And I think that's one thing which worked for me in the space of entertainment,
right.
because I loved entertaining, energizing, motivating, inspiring people. For me, my inspiration is very simple. It's Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali, and my dog. So Muhammad Ali, because I think he was, I think, a wonderful poet, and he
Yeah,
was a game changer because I think there was nobody as dominating and as smart as Muhammad Ali in terms of his discipline was amazing, and
absolutely.
that's what I believe in my dog. Was my dog lives in the moment. I don't think she lives in the past or the future. That's what I believe. But looking at her right now, I think lives in the moment. So that's been my inspiration, and I've always carried that ethic when I've also been entertaining. There's a lot of preparation which goes into it, because I've worked with different people like Sudha Murthy, Narayan Murthy, Shashi Tharoor, Jeffrey Archer, Virat
Right.
Kohli. You name it, I've done shows with them. I mean, you
Right.
do shows with such kind of people, and of course, the wonderful Vivek Nair. Like I call Nair Saab. The reason I call Nair Saab, there was a movie of Mammootty.
Yes.
He had a movie called Nair Saab, and it came out with a big bang in Delhi. I
Right.
remember. And and I'm also Malayali like you. So there's
Oh,
that Malayali streak in all of us, that
right.
entrepreneurial streak and that streak to uh, strike a debate, strike a conversation, which comes very
Absolutely.
naturally to all of us, I believe. And
Right.
because of the long train rides to Kerala, right, from Delhi to Kerala, Kerala
Right.
Express Zindabad. Yeah, I
Right.
think
I,
that's how
I
it is.
was I wasn't aware that you're a Malayali, by the way.
Yeah,
But
a lot of people think I'm a Bengali because of the hair. They give this image of being a poet who's lost in the woods. So a lot of people
right.
think I'm a Bengali. They don't know I'm a Malayali.
Fantastic. So, anyways, I have found you inspirational for a long because I've been following your work for some time now. We have been connected on LinkedIn for a while.
Yeah,
I've seen your website like a million times, I believe, because it's a lot of people on that website. If I
oh my
look at it,
God.
there is no celeb with which you haven't done an event.
And,
There is.
and trust me, each person I've met with, they're so interesting. And so it's for me, everybody's a story.
Right.
I'm talking to you. There's something which I can always pick up from you. There's something which I can always pick up from, say, a PT Usha, a Milka Singh, a Jeffrey
Right.
Archer.
Right.
Jeffrey has done a couple of shows with him. Virat Kohli, the sense of discipline. Uh, Very interesting characters. Shashi Tharoor or even Kiran Mazumdar Shaw. You name it, I've done shows with them. And I think
Right.
it's also, I think I really enjoy what I do here. I love it. I live for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on a table and just entertaining people. I'll
Right.
just live. Trust me.
I can feel that. That's it's when you meet a person who really loves what he does, you get that kind of a frequency from them, a different kind of aura and a frequency.
Absolutely.
So my next question will be, you have one of the most sought after entertainers in the country with a lot of events and all that. So if do you even remember how many events you have done so far?
So, say in a month, say in a week, I do 4 to 5 events. So, if we calculate that in a month, it comes to a certain amount. But I do a lot of other unofficial events where I counsel a lot of people.
Okay.
I counsel a lot of students. I counsel a lot of CEOs, entrepreneurs, educationalists, teachers, colleagues, ex colleagues, bosses. They must be watching this video. A lot of people have called me at various point of time in the night, morning, afternoon. I've done like private sessions for them. Now, as we talk, I'm also doing a lot of sessions with students right now because of the pandemic. A lot of people are being depressed not because of under information, a lot of over information.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
help them get a balance, in the mind about how they need to approach certain things and how they need to look at it. But
Right.
I've done shows, I've done marathons, I've done sporting events, I've done shows for dogs, I've done marathons for dogs, and trust me, dogs are the best clients. Huh? I'm not saying because I they actually listen to your instructions. As in, everybody does listen, no doubt, because you have the mic in your hand and you've got the power of your voice and persona and everything. But the dogs do tend to listen to you, and they've been my best stakeholders so far. I've done book
Right.
launches. I've done you name it. I've done it. Anything which requires motivation, anything which requires engagement, I've done it all. I've managed quite a bit. And coming from a background where I've not been in this industry at all, as in I'm not from this industry. I'm not somebody who was doing this in school and college and dramatics, and I never did this at all. It was all started by doing a play. I did a play. I acted in a play. I learned improv comedy with the likes of Kenny Sebastian, Kanan Gill, Biswa, Kanish Surka, all of them. But I
Right.
wanted to stay back in Bombay, stay back in Bangalore, and do what I wanted to do. Whereas people wanted to go to Bombay and they wanted to do what I did, and somehow I could relate to it. And I think comedy is all about writing. So that's where the
Right.
book came out, and now I'm working on my second book also. So
Right.
yeah, it's
Right.
been an interesting journey so far. But I think the journey, more than the destination, the journey is fun.
Absolutely.
I love the fact that I get to interact and meet such versatile and such interesting people who have a story of their own. And I think their failures and your failures teach you more than anything else about success. Yeah, I think
Right.
their honesty, the way they look at things, the wavelength, the mindset, everything. I think it's very
Absolutely.
interesting. That's what leadership is all about.
Absolutely. So I think every facet of your life has an element of inspiration in it, right? So, coming to one favorite thing of mine, which caught my attention first time when I came across Shekhar Vijayan, this was what caught my attention. You have a very huge, humongous personal transformation story.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you throw a little bit information on that? Can you
So
throw some light?
I was because I was working in the corporate sector. I was weighing, and it was a very sedentary job. All about presentations and same slide, same template. वही करना है. The client is king. There was one particular client who wanted goat's milk in the middle of the night. That's when I realized, boss, हमसे ना हो पाएगा ये. This is for a very popular consulting firm, which I won't name, but
Right.
every company has got this template. And because I was working in these various companies, I worked in very interesting companies, very interesting people, and it was a very sedentary job. And one fine day, I think I was watching an India-Pakistan game when India was beating the daylights out of Pakistan in a World Cup match, and
Right.
I was sitting on a plastic chair, and the plastic chair was right next to a glass case, and the chair broke, and I fell, and I almost hit my head, but nothing happened to me because I've got such a hard head, and that's when it hit me hard. Ki boss, कुछ तो करना है मतलब you can't be so overweight and so fat and you can't do anything with your life. So when you're fat or overweight, it only hits you when it hits you hard. That's just the whole world might tell you you're fat or you're thin, but it doesn't make any difference until it touches a certain part of your heart, until
Right.
it touches you somewhere personally. And the next day I started going for a walk. I started walking like for half an hour, 30 minutes. I walked just 2 kilometers with my dog. And Sunshine was like, I don't need a six pack. Why the hell am I walking with you like this? He's a golden retriever, okay? So and it's fun to see them running and walking with you with the hair all over the place. Like they can give the likes of Anil Kapoor a complex because they've got hair everywhere. Two beautiful eyes, though. So, as a Dogani. And I started walking 2 kilometers and I started running 5 kilometers in half an hour. And then I graduated to running 10 kilometers in say around 38 to 40 minutes. So my stamina was quite good. I realized it that I could do this.
Right.
And when your clothes start fitting you, you start wearing clothes which you used to wear in college. You're from double XL, you turn down to medium and small, and you feel very good. You go to you go to stores and you pick up stuff which you like, which you can wear. Otherwise, you're perennially living in a track pant or in a black t-shirt because
Right.
you want to hide the girth, and
Right.
your entire perspective changes and about how you look at yourself, how you look at life. The confidence was always there even before that. So I was always extremely confident with or without the fat, that is. But that entire perspective changed, and I do a plank every half an hour. So I do a plank from the time I wake up. That is, if I wake up at 5:30 in the morning and I go to sleep at say 11 in the night, I do a plank every half an hour. So before
Wow.
I go to this, I did a plank for like 1 minute to 2 minutes. I can do it, and that is something which I've been doing constantly. And the second thing which I've maintained is I also, if it's raining outside, for example, which is always the case in Bangalore, it may be raining in your neighborhood, but when you go to the other neighborhood, it's not raining. Bangalore is like that. You're just
Yeah.
3 4 clouds away, I feel. So and when it rains, you cannot obviously run. So I use the stairs, and I'm staying on the sixth floor. Before this, I was staying on the 11th floor. So I use the stairs, and I do that for 45 minutes, and that's like 5 kilometers in say half an hour, and that's intense because it's cardio, right? So it's good for the entire body. I do that, and I also one thing I do is I don't smoke, I don't drink. So that's a big advantage because when you don't smoke and you don't drink, your calories are less. You don't eat also, and I avoid everything white. So no salt, no sugar, nothing in a packet. I don't have cold drinks. I don't have any fetish for anything as such, like no red meat. If I like fish because I'm a Malayali, right? And I like fish, and everything is grilled. So I'm a chef's nightmare because if I go to a hotel, I ask so many questions. The chef is saying, "Boss, हमसे ना हो पाएगा," because I don't have milk, I don't have butter, I don't have cheese. I'm allergic. I hate it. I hate the smell of it and I hate the taste of it also.
Okay.
So certain things are good. So I have a lot of vegetables because of that. And yeah, I'm very stubborn about it. So a lot of people say that being stubborn is a negative attitude. It is a very positive attitude if you're sure of what you want to do. And if you can back yourself up, not just in staying fit or losing weight, but about any decision in life, if you can back yourself up and say, I will do it, nothing in the world can stop you from doing it. That's what I believe. It's worked for me because I was very strong and very stubborn about I want to lose weight in this manner. So I didn't go to a gym. I didn't pay money to a trainer. which I used to do earlier. 1st of January, I used to go there, and because of peer pressure, I would go and pay money and go for 1 week, and then after I would never go at all. This time I
Right.
realized I'll do it differently. I'll start running. I will start, using the stairs. I'll start doing a plank, and it's all at home, running out. Just, and I love the thrill of the the the, the sound of the feet touching the ground when I run. I find it very rhythmic, and that's a plus for any marathoner. If you ask them, they love that pit pat of the feet touching the ground. It's a
Right.
certain, like a certain sur, like a
Right.
what a musician likes, and obviously, I think that's something which we all love. Anybody who wants to stay fit, but I think the
Right.
plank is what I love doing. You ask me to do a plank, I made people have challenged me to a plank. So in most of my events, I make the people who come on the event do a plank with me. This time, last event I did was with Mandira Bedi for a book launch, and she made me do a plank with her. And she didn't
Okay.
know that I would do a plank with her. So we did a plank, and then she gave me a high five. I said, "Wow, wonderful." Then we started the book launch. We asked her questions about a book, and she was very comfortable. And she gave me an amazing compliment. See, she herself is a host, and she's somebody who's very, I feel, somebody who's managed her career pretty well from what she was and what she's done with how she's managed it. I think she's amazing. So you get to meet some amazing people in your workspace, and she was one of them. But I think the plank and avoiding everything white, and having lots of fruits. So anybody who wants to lose weight, avoid pineapples, avoid mangoes, have more of watermelon, have more of bananas, have more of muskmelon, and just avoid everything white. Avoid everything in a packet. Anything in a
That's
packet is not good for your body. Simple. Be
right.
organic.
So, from what was your weight before, and where did you hit? What is the least you hit with
I
this?
was 75 kilos. I was 125, and I got it down to 75 kilos.
My goodness.
And now I'm a little, I think I must be around 80 kilos or 80, 85 or around that. But I brought it down right down till I was 46 inches on the waist. And then I got it down to 32 inches on the waist.
Right.
And
I've
that,
seen you. I've seen a picture. It is like two different people,
oh
actually.
my God. My parents could recognize me. My mom said, "What's wrong with you? Are you sick?" And the why was like pleasantly surprised. My in-laws were like shocked. And it also happened because I had gone to my in-laws' house in Chennai, and the commode I sat on broke. So it became like a joke in the family. We need a golden commode for Shekhar. So and I've got nothing up against anybody, but I use that as the motivation for myself, saying that
Right.
I'll show everyone what I'm made of, and it worked in my favor. I believe because I really worked hard towards it, and it's not been easy, I would say, but it's not been tough also. Once you get into the hang of doing it, your mind it's basically mind over matter. It's
Absolutely.
never physically. It's about conditioning your mind, saying that boss, aaj karna hai. So there were never any cheat days for me. 7 days a week I was at it. 7 days a week. So no 6 days, 5 days funda. 7 days I'm just on and on about it. And
Right.
it's interesting because when you work out like this, and so if I had an event in the evening, I would come back home at 11 in the night. If I didn't have time to run, I would go up and down the stairs for 45 minutes. So my neighbors used to laugh at me, saying, "What the hell are you doing?" When everybody's making food. Somebody's making parota, somebody's making mutton curry, somebody's making chicken curry, and you're using the stairs, you're huffing and panting, and you're sweating all over with the hair all over your face. And somebody
Right.
comes and says, "What are you doing at this hour at 11:30 in the night?" I said, "No, I'm just using the stairs." And
Right.
I never use the elevator at all. Any place I go, I never use the elevator. If the place where I'm going is on the 18th or 24th floor, I'll make sure I walk just to test myself.
Right.
So I end up sleeping a lot because of that, but then I do it.
Right. I think it's a perfect example of how powerful our mind is, right? But
Yeah.
when we want to start a regime every January 1st, we all do this. We go to gym, pay 11,000, 20,000,
Oh my
and
God.
then go for a weekend end of it, right? We will be. I have done it multiple times, to be honest with you.
I
You
can
know,
make a plan for you. I can make a plan for you. Tell you what you need to eat. It's very simple, yeah. So I know
fantastic.
done shows with Ravita Devekar also, and she's somebody who follows a very different philosophy of staying fit and staying active.
Yeah,
She's helped out, Kareena
yeah,
Kapoor getting the size zero figure, and she was
yeah,
very
yeah.
impressed with my story, and she was very impressed when I hosted a book launch, and she was totally blown by the fact that this is how I have lost weight. So for different people, it works in different ways.
Absolutely.
It's your body also, right? Your body tends to listen to you if you do it in the right manner. But like I
Right.
said, it all boils down to mind over matter.
Absolutely. Right. So, so inspiring that is, that's just one part of it. But then my next question will be, being an entertainer is a really tough role. You said that
Hmm.
you were an introvert. You have transformed yourself into a person with so much of aura, exuberance, and confidence. So, what
Hmm.
drives Shekhar Vijayan as an entertainer and as an entrepreneur? What drives you?
See, I just love inspiring people. I just love connecting with people. I just love understanding what their stories are. I just love what makes a person tick. That's the basic mindset. And then all the
Right,
preparation that goes into it. For example, if I'm doing a show with, say, Sudha Murthy, there's some preparation which goes into to understand what kind of person is Sudha Murthy. Sudha Murthy, her uh, biggest sales point is her simplicity. Whereas somebody with
right,
a Shashi Guru, it's all about the English. You need a dictionary when you talk to him. But you can connect at a certain level because it's about presence of mind. When I'm saying presence of mind, it's about how quick can you be because nothing
right,
is going to go as per plan, and it's about how you connect with them. And I've done shows with Mr. Mohanlal also, who's
right,
obviously a very very popular Malayali and very popular actor, and
right,
arguably a complete actor like they say. And I'm a big fan of his. I did a show with him. I introduced him on stage for a marathon, and then we had lunch together. And very interesting, you can have and because I read a lot. I'm a voracious reader. I've read everything from Chacha Chaudhary to Jeffrey Archer to anything and everything I've read. The Art of War. I'm reading it right now. I've read books multiple times, and I've also read Linda Goodman also many number of times. It's because she's never said anything bad about any zodiac sign. Everything is good if you read it. Like very diplomatic lady, yeah. Though. So I've read about all. So somewhere the reading also helps because you can talk about any topic. And in our line of business, as an entertainer, it's not an elevator pitch. Your pitch is there anytime.
right,
You're always meeting a potential client. So you should know what to talk, and how to continue the conversation, how to end the conversation. There's a certain skill set connected to that. It's not just about being spontaneous. There's a lot of preparation which goes into it because, for example, book launches you have, and you need to know how to get the conversation going, not just about books per se, but about everything around it. How has Bangalore been, and, the climate, and make it interesting, make it funny, and also make it interesting for the larger audience because there's an audience which is listening to you. How much masala can you give them, for example?
right,
And so it's fun for me. I love the fact that this industry which I'm in is very unstructured, and because
right,
I'm so spontaneous by nature, I just go off the cuff. I just There's a basic framework in my head, no doubt. If I have an event, say in the morning at around 12 o'clock, I'll be up by 4 o'clock in the morning. I'll prepare. I'll go through what I need to go through. But when I'm up on stage, I'll be doing my own thing because I love the kind of preparation which goes into it. I love the butterflies in my stomach before an event, but once I'm on stage, once I'm out there, I just live for it. I have such a high when I finish an event. Then you need at least 10 Red Bulls with me to come back to earth. And, it's the high. It's a high which a Michael Jackson would get. I don't know. I live for this because this is what I enjoy doing, and nobody's been able to understand this point about how this guy can be so high perennially 24 hours a day. But
right,
it's a zone you are in, and I think I get it because it's also a lot of preparation which goes into it, and the kind of versatile clients you meet. So you meet somebody like a PT Usha who doesn't talk much, but I know her husband well. Somebody like a Milka Singh who gave me a very interesting story of the fact that he lost only 4 medals in his life. Out of 80 medals, he's won 76 times, which speaks about the fact that he was so interesting, right? And you bring that information out to the public, and you say it in such a manner that my God, everybody gets goosebumps talking about it because wow, we heard this today. So
right,
it's like a call to action for everybody else who's listening in. So if I'm
right,
marathons, for example, book launches, talk to Mandira Bedi about how she got into, say, for example, anchoring. She had gone for a show in Sri Lanka, and that's how she went. So there's a lot of preparation which goes into things like this with Mohan Lal about how does he act the way he acts, like how does he get into the character. He was telling me he's like a goalkeeper. So when he's a goalkeeper's job is to defend anything which comes his way, and he just trusts himself in front of the director. So that's something which I learned from all these people that trust is very important, honesty is very important. When you're saying honesty and trust, it's about just trusting things the way they are and just leave it and have fun while you're doing it. As in, life is not so. Life was never meant to be a bed of roses, but just leave it and just allow it things to happen because you got wings to soar, uh, like the Wright brothers. So make the most of it, but also have your presence of mind to make sure that things go wrong. You know how to come back. So somehow I was able to develop the knack for it because I was very prepared. That is one, and I'm a voracious reader, and I genuinely like talking to people. I genuinely like connecting to people, inspiring, motivating them. I just live for it. If I
right.
can, my logic is I want to leave an impact. They should feel that they have somewhere that has spoken to Shekhar and has made a difference to their lives. That's what I believe. So
Absolutely. That's fantastic. There's a concept called flow state, right? The Dr. Mikhail has written a book on it. I think when you are doing your work, you love it so much. You are in the flow state, I believe.
Oh yeah,
That,
trust me.
that's why you are
Yeah.
prepared, but still you go off the cuff and you do stuff in different
And,
ways
and,
and things.
and I just live in the present, not the past or the future. I don't bother about what has happened in the past or what's happening in the future. So right now, as we talk, as it's 8:30 in the night, and on this wonderful day, for me, this moment is the most important day for me. This moment is the most important moment. If I don't think this is important, I will not be able to give my best. That's what I believe, and I keep it very simple. I just enjoy this.
Right, fantastic. So, on the impact point which you mentioned, you want to leave an impact. I had Abhishek Majumdar, the CEO
Yeah,
of Logic Indian,
logical
couple
Indian. He's a
couple
very
of weeks ago.
different man.
Very, I love him. He's a fantastic guy, and he also said the same thing. Vivek, we have a limited amount of time here. Make
Yeah,
sure that we do something so good it impacts so many people, and we go.
yeah,
So that also was so touching for me. Fantastic. So, only one more question on your events bit. I just want
yeah.
to understand that angle of yours.
Sure.
Can you mention some of the biggest event which you have managed so far?
So
Maybe.
I've done shows in Australia. I've done and Australia was for this group called the Hindu Council Australia, which is a group of Indians who manage shows for Diwali, New Year's Eve, and everything around it. And they had called me for one show, which I had to do in Sydney, where there were 25,000 people who had come, and Michael Jackson had performed there before that. So that was the biggest hype for me, because for me, Michael Jackson is somebody who's been an entertainer. Now, if you look at it now, the day and age we're living in, Michael Jackson is so relevant right now, right?
Yes. Yes.
His writing, his lyrics, his songs, "We Are the World." You think about it. So,
Yes.
and the guy who was managing the show, he was telling me that Michael Jackson had performed here. I was like, wow, that's a big high for me. And 25,000 people were there throughout the day. It is like a proper rock concert. So for me, that was like a big, big confidence booster. मतलब गोरों को entertain करना, Indians को entertain करना गोरे देश में is a different high altogether. Now, because of I did that event in Australia, I got to do that event again the next year. So they took care of everything, expenses. They paid me my whatever I charged. I went to US and did a show in at the Jimmy Fallon's show in New York.
Right.
And
Right.
I'd worn the shirt. You don't win the silver, you lose the gold. That's what I believe in. My T-shirt. I got this
Right.
T-shirt made in US also because I wanted to launch my company from there. And
Right.
Jimmy Fallon was talking to Trevor Noah. We are talking about
Right.
India and everything, and he saw my shirt. You don't win the silver, you lose the gold. He said wanted to come up and do a small act for me. We did a small act, about the entire Indian thing of shaking your head and what does it mean and everything. But I was surprised. Somebody like Jimmy Fallon, for example, he does a lot of retakes. So there is somebody who takes care of his hair. There's somebody who makes sure that his punchlines are good. And we all think that is spontaneous, right?
Right.
That's when
Right.
मैं तो इससे अच्छा हूँ, right? But nobody in NBC will tell me that. But I got to know it. You can see that. So that gives you a big high. And I've done shows in the Great Wall of China. I've done shows at the Eiffel Towers in Paris for a multicultural client. Last I did a show was in Shanghai. This was last year, October. November, October. Then I've done shows in Sri Lanka. But, your work takes you places, and what I love about this is I love traveling. I love meeting people from different cultures because ultimately people are the same. The mindset may change here and there, but people are the same. And nothing like coming back to India, because in India I've performed practically everywhere, and I genuinely love connecting with people. So it's been a fun ride, I would say. But yeah,
Yeah.
I would say Australia was fun because I also got this guy, Pat Cummins, who was actually supposed to get the highest money this time in IPL. I don't think he's playing IPL this time.
Right.
So he was a part of KKR at that point of time when I'd gone to Australia. And so he was a brand ambassador for one of those products there. And I made him come on stage and said, now that you've come here and you're a part of KKR, how about making you do a song and dance like what we do in India? So I made him do a dance like Shah Rukh Khan, and he was thrilled. But that's a normal thing which you do back in India, right? He was happy, like, my God, somebody's making me dance in front of 25,000 people. So that's when I realized the power of it. You can make people do anything you want them to do as long as they're having fun. And
Right.
you're doing it in Australia, and and you get recognized around the world. People message you, people ping you, and the kind of impact you create because of your work.
Right.
Because in my obviously in the 9 to 5 routine that I was working in, things were totally different, right? Because you're working as per in a particular silo, and
Right.
working in transitions where I used to sell ice to an Eskimo, and the Eskimo will think it's Kulfi by the time you come back home. And here it's totally different. Here you can sell ice to anybody and make sure it's ice because you
Right.
genuinely believe in it. It's honesty at its best. So that was
Right.
completely fun. Yeah, like doing stuff in Australia, London. I've done shows in London. I performed at Sri Lanka, Maldives, uh, you name it, like in any part of the world. Which now, obviously, because of COVID-19, not done anything overseas so far. But of late, I did a show with Bomani Rani, where there were around 12 other participants, international speakers. I got them in, and when you're especially on a Zoom call, for example, when you're with so many participants, it's also about understanding what each person is all about, along with the internet harikiri which happens. So it's been and it's just about how you manage it, and it's fun. Yeah, I totally enjoy it. But yeah, Australia was fun for me. I loved it.
20, 25,000 people.
Oh my
I would
god, crazy.
I would have
Crazy.
shit my pants for sure.
And I should tell you this. I had been to this place called Temple Bar in कहाँ पे अपना Ireland. वहाँ पे the U2 frontman
Hmm.
Bono. I bumped into him in the bathroom. We had got this
Okay.
place called a Temple Bar. There's a very popular bar called Temple Bar, and it's
Right.
named after Mr. Temple or something. And this guy was
Right.
there. I'm like, इसको कहीं देखा है यार? This Bono. And wearing those goggles, Then I was thinking,
Yeah,
no,
you
streets have no name. And he said, oh yeah. He didn't know. I didn't know what to do. So and I didn't take a picture because couldn't place him. Sometimes you just can't place, right? But he
right.
looks familiar. So you get to meet some interesting people along the way. But it's fun, yeah.
Right. You have been all over the world, I must say, because of
Yeah.
your work and the kind of passion you carry. All right. So my next area which I want to talk about is you have written a book which is Dare to Dream. It's
Yeah.
one of the good books you can read about, right? So tell us a little bit about that. What it's about, who should read it, etc., etc.
So Dare to Dream is for anyone out there who wants to dream with their eyes open. That is one. Makes for a good catch line. T-shirt medal.
Right.
So Dare to So Dare to Dream, actually, I have also made a trip to Mount Kailash, Mansarovar Lake in the last couple of years. And I think that trip was beautiful. I'll tell you why.
Right.
In-laws wanted to go to Mount Kailash, Mansarovar Lake. And I had to go because my wife told me, you have to go. I said, okay, chalo, jate hain, dekhte kya hai. And my God, we had to go through Nepal and to touch Mount Kailash. It was an experience of a lifetime. The helicopter rides, you're in between the Himalayas, and it's only turbulence. And I'm scared of turbulence, but I've done skydiving. Okay, I'm scared of the entire turbulence thing, but skydiving, kya? I'm like, parachute to nahi hai, but turbulence hai. It's like that. And when you go in these helicopters, it's manned by these Russian guys who look like those typical villains from James Bond films. So they are sipping on a drink, and you can't have a conversation with them because they just don't want to converse with you, right? And you're on this helicopter with them, and the helicopter shaking like all over the place, and because of the pressure, Himalayas and everything around it. And once you reach Mount Kailash, oh my God, it's so beautiful here. It's an experience. I've written about that Mount Kailash experience in my book, and it's also going to come out. I'm going to write about it in my second book also. But there was a near-death moment for me in Mount Kailash when I went there, and there was a place called Mansarovar Lake, which is a place where they say the gods take bath, and so there are no hotels opposite that because you cannot see the gods taking bath, right? That's the legend which goes there. Now, when
Right.
you go there, interestingly, in Mansarovar Lake, there is a lot of aquatic life at 26,000 feet on top of a mountain. Mountain ke
Okay.
upar lake. And in this lake, so everybody was dead tired after after reaching Mount Kailash. Ideally, you go to Mansarovar Lake, you do your puja, and then you go to Mount Kailash. But because of logistical issues and the funky, travel guide we had, things didn't work out in that manner. It
Right.
completely opposite. So the age group I was starting with is all 65, 70 years old.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
who were all very healthy, living on a diet of on a diet of coffee, noodles, idli, and everything fine. So it's very strange. You may be the oldest person, maybe the most unfit person, but when you reach a place like Mount Kailash, you are like your energy levels are high. It's very magnetic. I don't know I don't know whether it's God or whether it's the place or the aura of the place, but there is something about it, and it was so
Right.
beautiful that I can't even describe it in words. I'm falling short of words actually. So when I went to Mansarovar Lake, as soon as I reached like a few meters from Mansarovar Lake, I had tears in my eyes. No, I don't know why I had tears in my eyes, but I cried for like 20 minutes. And that's when I realized what people talk about being in the zone is. Like a Sachin Tendulkar when he tells that when I see the ball, all I see is the ball. It's like a football to me. Or Roger Federer, suddenly you realize his game suddenly changes. He's playing a
Right.
normal game, suddenly he becomes like a Rolls Royce and he takes it to another level without even realizing it. So
Right.
I go to the zone for 20 minutes. And that 20 minutes was the most beautiful time because I was just crying because I was happy. Just 20
Wow.
minutes. And after 20 minutes ke baad, again you're haggard, your hair is all over the place, and you're in the mountains, right? So you got a big beard. Everything grows fast, fingernails and everything. And you are just dead tired because you want to go back to India. And then one of those, one NRI out there picked up a fight with a lady called Karma, who's the air traffic controller of that area. So she looks at the
Okay.
clouds and decides whether a helicopter will come or not. They picked up a fight saying that हम लोग इंडिया में तुमसे अच्छा खिचड़ी बनाता है. So that lady called Karma, she took it seriously and said, "Boss, for them, prestige is a big deal." And they said, मैं इस जगह के सौगंध खाती हूँ कि I will not allow any Indian to go back." So for 20
Oh,
days we were stuck there. So all the females were allowed to sleep in the motel. We were allowed to ask to sleep outside. And it's not easy because you're sleeping under in the mountains, right? It's cold.
absolutely.
And then the Stockholm syndrome sets in. People start singing songs. Suprabhatam is going on. Jai Jai Shiv Shankar is going on. People are doing their own thing. People want to go back. Then fights start because helicopter to aega nahi. Somebody has to convince the lady. And our Indians have got so much of ego. Nobody wants to convince her. So I went and spoke to her and told, "Ma'am, please give us a chance. Give us an opportunity." She had a son who was staying in Bangalore. I used my charm that time at Karma. And Karma was not a bitch. And Karma said, "No, we will allow you to go." That's how we landed in India. As soon as I landed in India, I touched Mother Earth and said, "Jai Mata Di." I said, "Boss, this is not happening." And then when I realized, life it's beautiful, but this entire experience of going to Mount Kailash, Mansarovar Lake was something which I will hold in my mind all my life because I would recommend this to anybody who wants to go. You should go to this place because there's something magical about the place. It's not because I'm very religious or because I have some agenda in mind, but I believe godliness lies in your heart. That's what I
Right.
believe. And your experiences. But that experience
Absolutely.
they changed me a lot because it's beautiful. Yeah. So that was
Sure.
what the dream is all about, and also about my experience as an entertainer.
Right. Right. Fantastic. So when is the second book due?
Second book is due right now. I'm writing it, so it should take a couple of months. Yeah, it's a
Uh,
supernatural story with Sunshine as the hero. So my wife
wow.
tells me my superpower is the fact that I'm able to connect with people. She tells me this. That's your superpower. I was asking today, what do you think is what makes me stand out? Sometimes it's always good to get an opinion from the better half. Otherwise, she'll say, "Boss, मेरे बारे में कुछ बोला नहीं." So yeah, so that's what I believe because is able to connect with people and just make them feel very comfortable, engage with them because everybody wants to be heard. I
Right.
feel everybody wants to be heard, and I think more than talking, listening is an art. I
Absolutely.
believe.
Absolutely.
I think
That is
listening is
that is the toughest thing to do, because we all have this tendency when somebody's speaking, we are preparing the response for that. So
correct.
I'm purposely putting myself in a listening seat. Uh, so it is very, very important actually. All right.
That's
So my next question is another area about you because you do so many things, my friend. So I have to speak about that. One is you are an international speaker,
yeah.
right? Can you throw some light on that? How does that work? You are an entertainer, you are an author, you are an RJ, you are this and that. How does an
Hmm.
international speaking career kicked off?
So, because I'm a voracious reader and I have an opinion on everything, and I watch a lot of the Idiot Box and I do a lot of work on TV also. I come on debates in Times Now, Republic TV, Mirror Now, I've come on, for example, what's happening with Sushant Singh Rajput right now. It's always important to have a geopolitical information about what's happening, not just in India, but around the world. And because I've traveled so much and I'm really interested in knowing what makes a country tick. Like America, इतना बड़ा देश है लेकिन वहां के लोग तो बहुत shallow हैं वो तो दिखा and I went to US last year.
Yeah, yeah,
Next to my cousin's house there was a man who had an American flag. So people make fun of Indians saying Indians are very jingoistic, मेरा भारत मान बोलते हैं. वहां पे तो सबका एक flag है सबके पास. They wear the
right,
American flag all over the place. So the
right,
same Indians don't talk about all that. So that's a hypocrisy which I've noticed. And somewhere that also helps when you're able to articulate it as a speaker without hurting anybody. The point is, I believe if you want to be a leader, you should be able to communicate or articulate your thoughts in the best possible manner. It's about your voice intonation, the kind of words you use, your body language, of course, and also your language, your understanding of the audience, what you have. And so, as a speaker, I've spoken on various topics. I've spoken about how one can stay mentally and physically strong during the pandemic, why emotional quotient is more important than the intelligence quotient, which I genuinely believe in. I spoke
Right.
about this recently with the Indian Leadership Academy, with coaches from all across the world. There were coaches from Australia, there were coaches from Japan and Korea and Singapore, and mine was the last one. There were 10 speakers, and I was the last speaker. And I thought, boss, ये तो फोड़ना है. And there's something that I believe in. Emotional quotient is very important because I think we've all been grown up with this education system. It says ratta maro, ratta maro, ratta maro, ratta maro. But you should not. It is all about your emotional awareness, how well you're able to connect to a person, your social skills, about how much can you understand a person without even talking to that person. And that's what I realize is what leaders do. If you talk about somebody like a Martin Luther King, somebody like a Mahatma Gandhi, somebody like even a honorable prime minister, I think they are able to connect. By the way, Mr. Modi has done a show where he's actually spoken to school children about why EQ is more important than IQ. And
Right.
you'll be quite surprised the way he's explained it. Huh? He's done a good job. I've seen that video. I was like,
Right.
wow, this is interesting. So I'm catching a very interesting topic. And somewhere I think one of the main things as an international speaker is uh, I've speak and I'm able to communicate what I want to communicate in the best possible manner because I have a strong opinion about it. Like I always believe that the women are the fairer sex. The women are the fairer sex simple for the reason they create life, right? You can't deny that. And
True.
it's such an oxymoron in a place like India. Like you have Ma Kali and Ma Durga, and then people are throwing babies in the train and doing all that. I feel it's so strange, like such a hypocritical place it is at times you
Right.
feel, right? That's what I strongly believe in. I also believe that
Right.
people like to listen to you when you are very clear about your thoughts. Because, for example, truth is something which is never sugar coated. When you speak the truth, it's either black or white. And it's not easy to stand for the truth because not many people stand for it because you're not honest about it. But when you speak, if you can be
Right.
honest and true about what you want to say, and if you have the interest of the larger audience in mind, in terms of everybody, in terms of could be stakeholders, could be entrepreneurs. See, if you're looking at talking to entrepreneurs, it's all about determination, persistence, and power. That superpower which you need. I think networking is the most important thing here. As an international
Yes.
speaker, I have collaborated with a lot of people, and I feel the only way to move up in life is to network, is to
Right.
collaborate with as many people as possible. Because only then can you succeed. You cannot be on your own and do it. You
Right.
cannot be you cannot be a Mount Kailash all the time. You have got to collaborate and become like a Nandi Hill and collaborate with more people and keep driving forward. Yeah.
Right. Got it. So, I know you recently received accolade from International Leadership Academy, right? So, I want to talk about some of the accolades which have come across your journey, some of them which you're very proud of.
So, you'll be quite surprised. I've got more awards in this than I've got awards in my company. So that explains where I'm getting my happiness from. But for me, awards were never a criteria for my success, but it's good if I get an award. So I have
Yeah.
got an award for hosting a dog-related event in Delhi, which I hold very close to my heart. Also, during COVID-19, I got an award from the Red Cross India for basically playing the role of a motivator. I got that. Then I got an award from the Indian Leadership Academy, which I dedicated to my dad because my dad, if he was alive, he would have been very impressed with me. And I think my first name is Shekhar Vijayan. First name is Shekhar, last name is Vijayan. So ideally, I would have been a Shekhar Menon. My mom is a Menon. My dad is a Nair. I'm from Palakkad. But
Right.
somehow my mom had a strange fetish that my last name should be his name. I said, okay, fine, Shekhar Vijayan. I like it when people call me Vijayan because I think my dad at that point of time had great networking skills. He used to work for this company called Ambuja Cement, and he used to just answer the phone saying Vijayan, and then he should, so he should not waste any time in who's speaking, how are you, Nay, Vijayan, good morning, Vijayan. And I like that. Wow, he's right on top of things. So that's been an inspiration. So all my awards I dedicated that point of time to my dad, and now it's all to my dog. But I've got a few awards like this. Where I've got from Indian Leadership Academy. I also got an award from my company, Shevins. I got an award for that too. And that's very interesting because this is something which I started on my own. And it's good, yeah. Well, I'm sure my father will be proud of me. My mom is immensely proud of me. She's an Aquarian. So she expresses in her own way. but she is very keyed into what I do. Obviously, my wife has been a very, very strong support. My in-laws, especially my father-in-law, looks like Mr. Modi, and so politics runs in the family, I would say.
I'm pretty sure everybody who knows you is proud of you. Obviously, your friends are coming and commenting on Facebook, proud of you, shakes and things
Yeah.
like that. I can understand that. So this journey, even though we spoke about the accolades and things, I also want to talk about a little bit on the negative side. What are the kind of challenges you had to face and you have, overcome along this journey?
So, so if you're moving from a 9 to 5 routine where you're working X amount of hours, you get X amount of money at the end of the month, it's great. But what I did was I moved out because I wanted to make a difference to my life. I
Right.
moved out, so I was working with Accenture and I was leading sales for them, transitions. And I was a decent amount of money and I was traveling around the world. And but one fine day, one of the clients wanted goat's milk, and I, this is not what I want to do in my life. And then that was a precursor for so many things because I believed that I am destined for something more, and I gave them a month's notice. Giving a month's notice to a company is fine, but then coming back home and telling your wife is a bigger battle. She's like, "You lost it. What the hell is wrong with you?" But then that's when being stubborn helps, right?
Yeah.
And that's when you talk to your biggest stakeholder because the wife is going to be with your journey forever, and you got to be happy doing what you're doing. So I
Right.
explained here. I left the job. I prepared for my GMAT. I got a score of 720 in my GMAT because my English is good. I applied in INSEAD, Singapore. I was going to join. I didn't join. I ended up joining a radio station, became a radio jock. And, and when I became a radio jockey, I realized that, boss, radio jockey ban ke bhi cubicle mein hi baithna hai. And I got a chance to do an event with Euro School where I'm talking to the parents and teachers and live audience. And I loved the thrill of talking to a live audience. I was like, this is fun, yeah. This is like almost like a bee with honey, and it's great fun, very vibrant. I said, I want to go out and do it more often. Then I said, let me just do it in my own, and I joined improv classes. I learned acting, from a reputed theater production company. I did two plays also. I learned acting, learned comedy, started writing more, and then I started doing shows. And I did a lot of shows. I did a lot of shows with the government of India, government of Karnataka, book launches, sporting events, marathons, the works. And then your name spreads, right? But then the problem is in this industry. If it's you leave this job, and it's okay to set up, say, a business, to set up a shop, but it's different to become an entertainer.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I'll tell you, there's a lot of people in my family, not close relatives, but relatives per se, would say, "Oh my God, you must be the guy who's behind in weddings, the person who takes a video." I said, "That's a cameraman. There's a difference." So that's the kind of knowledge people have. Then somebody passed a comment saying that, "Oh, when you go up on stage, there's a stage, not break." Very seriously, they asked. I said, "Great. This person is living in some other world altogether." So you face detractors like that, but you don't take them seriously because you know you're destined for something big. And
Right.
there is competition in this industry, no doubt. There is a lot of insecurity in this industry, like every industry. But the only way to get through this is to make an impact, is to have a sense of balance. Now, when I'm saying sense of balance, I've been through a lot in life. I have failed a lot. I have failed a lot, and I'm saying that not work wise, but uh, you know, uh, I have learned from my mistakes, and I think you can only become better if you learn from your mistakes because nobody's become successful without failing. Failing
Yeah.
is the stepping stone for success, like they say. So there's a lot of insecurity, a lot of competition, no doubt. But if you have your own brand, and I think that's where understanding what you're all about is very important because there'll be good days, there'll be bad days, and it's about how you overcome the bad days more than the good days because nothing lasts forever. Happiness or sadness, I think, is very temporary. I think that Mount Kailash trip has made me very philosophical somewhere. Because sometimes you become more philosophical than you were earlier, and it's like almost Vasudev and Jackie Vasudev meets Tony Robbins. It's almost so it becomes like a joke in the family. We don't believe that I was very quiet for 3 years. They think he's a real chatterbox given a
Yeah.
chance. But
Right.
this is how it is. And because I'm in the entertainment industry and I do a lot of work with TV, IPL is going to start now. A lot of work will come in through IPL. I do a lot of shows on TV, like Republic Times now. You have an opinion. It's about how you articulate it. Uh, that knowledge of what's happening around you is very important and having a sense of humor because I have got so many imaginary stories running in my head. I've got so many punchlines for it. You won't believe it. Any
Right.
comedian who's on the salt is always a good writer.
Right.
I also
Got
know
it.
you met Nitish Chaturvedi, right? The
Yeah.
doctor.
Yeah. Yes.
He's
Yes.
very.
He was
He's
the
yeah.
Indian stand-up comedy scene is not something I enjoy. It's
Correct.
very very few people I like. One is Dr. Jagdish, obviously, and I like Rahul Subramaniam. So
Yeah, he's good.
he reminds me of you because of the kind of switch. He was from
Yeah,
Tech
he's
Mind,
also made a switch. Yeah,
so he jumped like that. Fantastic, right? So by it's been going on for a while. So let me not take more time of yours, but
no
I have
problem.
two more questions for you. Number one is again a philosophical question, but I need to ask this. If you have to give your top three advice for budding entrepreneurs and professionals, whoever it is, entertainers or entrepreneurs, what will be those three advice?
Persistence, persistence, persistence.
That's it.
But on a more serious note, actually, it's persistence. Networking is very, very, very important, and collaboration.
Right.
Persistence has got to be the number one skill, because as a startup and in a place like India, for example, it's never going to be easy. One is going
Yep.
to be fighting those demons outside and then those demons inside, right? And you've got to be at it like an ant, and you have to collaborate as much as you can. If you have to put an animal to it, something like a bee, you have to be like a bee and collaborate and converge, like what we're doing right now. And very important to network. When I'm saying networking, you got to just meet people. You have to let that you have to shed that ego aside. I think we all have a lot of ego, because of
Yep.
which there's so much insecurity which comes in, and you don't want to go out and ask for help, ask for advice, or ask for somebody who can work with you, because we're living in very interesting times. And I believe I'm telling it interesting because I think this pandemic has made this world very small.
Yep.
This pandemic has also made us realize that uh, you know uh, an invisible disease can actually bring you down in more ways than one. It's not a
Right.
disease which you can even see, right? We're not even able to fight it out. And
Right.
the only way to get out of this is having amount of gratitude, and ensuring that gratitude is the best attitude. Once you have that in place and understand, see, now the market has also changed so much, right? You have to be
Yep.
adept to the market changes. You have to be flexible. For being flexible, you have to collaborate. You have to converge with people. You have to talk to people. You have to connect with people. You cannot be living in a silo of your own. You cannot be living in your den. You have to step out.
Those days are over. I think this COVID-19, some of the guests were talking that it's kind of a blessing in disguise because it has made, like, there's one dialogue in Avengers movie. My son is a big fan of superheroes. Thor will say to Captain America and the other guys, "You are puny humans," right? So it has made us all realize that our small virus, which is in nanometers, can superbly kick our ass. Simple as that, right?
Yeah.
We were all flying high, thinking that we are invincible, and now it is the situation.
And I was thinking 2020 was all about flying saucers and flying men and everything. And just think, in Chinese वालों को कोई vegetarian food खाना सिखाओ यार. Please, somebody teach them. They're only eating non-vegetarian food, exotic animals. I don't know what is going on in their head. I had been to China last year, and China's 30 years ahead of other countries. Huh?
Yeah.
The airports are big, huge. They can haggle worse than Indians, and crazy. But I would say when I went to Beijing, when I went to Shanghai, Shanghai is very, very, very polluted.
Yeah,
Very
yeah,
polluted.
it's very highly polluted
Very
cities they have.
polluted. And the
Yeah,
Great Wall of China was an experience, because it's a wonder of the world, right? But it's built
right.
on dead bodies, which they never talk about, and everything is, China has got a different, it's an expensive place to be in, but the entrepreneurial spirit they have there is amazing, amazing.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
something which we can
Very
learn from them.
enterprising.
Very
Very
enterprising.
enterprising. Yeah.
The
Even
pandemic,
even
and also
yeah.
because of the
Even
pandemic, सब लोग experts बन गए कपड़े धोने
right.
में. I look at the utensils in my house. I'm like, यार ये utensils कितना धोते हैं यार? Right, let's just have one plate. Like, what if, or let's order out. It's better rather than every time the utensils you wash, it doesn't get over. So I become an expert in mopping. Right now the tiles look like a Sabina Park pitch in West Indies. It's shining. So I'll give myself 10 on 10. And my wife has got a severe OCD problem. So she looks at something, look at dust, and she like look at me. So before she looks at me and we start arguing, I'm like, let me just do it. So now it's become a habit, and it's a good exercise also. So the dog is like surprised what's going on.
So my final question is related to that. How has COVID-19 impacted Shekhar and your work?
So COVID-19 has given me a lot of different activities to do, like counseling sessions for students and their parents and teachers. That is one. COVID-19 has also given me a lot of work in terms of very versatile work for different companies, where I've actually mentored and motivated the HR department of various companies. The HR is
Wow.
right now under a lot of, they're under the pump, I would say. Hiring,
Right.
firing, and all that. But also, I believe COVID-19 is also somewhere a myth. I'll say why. A lot of companies are actually doing very well. A lot of companies are. It's the small businesses which have got hit. The only thing is, we
Right.
as humans want to connect with people outside, which we cannot do because of COVID-19. And somewhere, I think people are not going to work, so they're staying at home, right? So they're spending more time with the family. So I don't know, it's a blessing in disguise. Like, for example, my in-laws were here. I just shifted in March when this COVID-19 thing happened, and I just shifted to a new house. My mom was here. We ended up watching the whole Mahabharat series, and it was fun to watch it because the Mahabharat is a you watch it anytime. It's always a learning. The
Right.
Bhagavad Gita and the balance and everything. It came at the right time. We watched all the Amazon web series, Netflix mein jo bhi hai sab dekha. Right now, I'm watching The Office right now, and I think Steve Carell is so good. Yeah, like he's so funny. I would recommend that to everybody. Like, watch Office. They try to make it in Hindi, but it didn't work. You should not make something which cannot be
Yeah.
broken, right?
Hindi was horrible, I guess.
Hindi was horrible. So COVID
Right.
19 for me has obviously taught me a lot of things, that you should not take things for granted. But I think COVID-19 is something which Sheldon would really love from Big Bang Theory. For somebody who's very particular with cleanliness, I think this is COVID-19 is totally is his heaven for him. But
Absolutely.
let's hope
Absolutely.
the pandemic gets over fast. Let's hope we get back to normalcy. Because more
Yep.
than me, I think the Prime Minister wants to go out there and entertain people. I'm sure he's just looking forward to it. Nobody, how much of it we talk, there's something good about going out and talking to a live audience. It's fun.
Absolutely. All right. I think we have come to the end of it. Shekhar, I'm so grateful for you to be here. And thank you for doing this. Even though I've not met you in person, let this be the start of this relationship. And obviously, I will meet you in person whenever I get a chance.
We
Thank
will,
you
we
so
will.
much for.
Vivek, before we sign off, I have to ask you this question, Vivek. You're doing the SMB talks as we talk, right? And you've had what, 12 to 13 shows so far,
Yes,
correct? And
I'm
and
doing.
uh, and you've got some very very interesting, very versatile guests who've come. What I
Yeah.
liked about you is the fact that you were able to. It's like a conversation between two old friends.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
I just felt it. We have never met in person, and we've just connected on LinkedIn. I think that makes it very special. And Vivek, I have to ask you this: what is your inspiration? You're a marketer, and you're seeing COVID-19. They will have good days, bad days after this. But what has been your inspiration so far?
Right. So, I drive. I have only one one driving philosophy in my life, which is empathy. Right. So I try to measure every relationship, uh, every work I take up based on empathy. So that's the word which drives me. So that's the reason behind I started the show also, because I wanted to connect with more people, bring on people like you to masses. If I don't know, it's not a million downloads show right now, but whoever is watching, I know that a lot of youngsters are watching this. For them, it's a big inspiration.
Oh
They
yes.
kind of listening to Shekhar Vijayan. Maybe they might have to come to Bangalore to any event to see you. Now they are getting it for free, sitting at their home 8 o'clock Friday, and they're listening to your story. That's the whole point for me. So it's apart from my full time job. I'm doing this, so it's basically an kind of activity which is built around empathy. It's that's why you came onto the show, right? You have 100 other things to do on a Friday. I'm pretty sure you came onto the show because of that, and I asked you because of that and things like that. So that's the whole inspiration point for me.
Thank you, Vivek. It's been a pleasure talking to you. And ladies and gentlemen, for everybody who's watching this show, Vivek is an inspiration himself. He's been smiling throughout the show, which explains that he's having a good time. Vivek, from
Thank you
which
so
part of
much.
India are you from?
I'm from Kottayam.
You're from Kottayam. Okay, I'm from Palakkad.
All right. All right, Shaker,
Super.
I'll take a leave and stay in touch, and let's
Well,
work on something
give
together.
my love to
Take
your
care.
son
Yep,
and let him
sure,
know
sure.
that there is a supernatural story coming his way soon.
Thank you so Thank you so much.
Take care, Vivek. It's been a pleasure talking to you. And a big thanks to everybody who's been watching and listening in.
Right.
Stay motivated.
Stay safe.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, guys, that was Shekhar Vijayan. He's a fantastic guy, as I told you at the beginning of the show. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry about my earbud not working. I would have looked like a stupid when I was doing that. But as everyone, I'm also learning the tricks of the trade. So that's the end of August for SMB Talks. We had a lot of good good people coming onto the show, right? So September is gonna be a mind-blowing month for SMB Talks. I have some of the biggest people from the field of marketing joining me in this show. I've already lined up my September in advance. Some of the biggest names. You can see the excitement on face. So I want all of you guys to tune in back again. Thank you so much for joining me every Friday. Stay safe. God bless you all.